because we have the impression that our heart, or somewhere here, is the center of all our feelings, sensations, and everything. Remember, in most of the yogic texts, we read about the sahasrara and the upper part of the head on which you should concentrate. What is the reason for this difference? And what's the truth?
Okay. I can escape by saying the truth is unutterable, but I'm not going to. The truth is, I think the truth is, that when you say heart, you're not talking about the physical heart. You're talking about the feelings that you have. And when you usually have feelings, and when I say I usually point out here because there is a natural feeling up here, something happening. Well, in yogic terminology, it's called the anahat, the unstuck sound, the anahat chakra. So, this is that which connects us to the world and therefore with feeling. You say I, no? Do you say I? You generally say I. You say, oh, terrible, but you don't say. So it's not the physical heart. It's the center among the 7 flames, 7 tongues. This one which is here, which is called the Anahat, is the center where you have to necessarily touch before you go here. There is no, you can't skip this and go there. If you skip this and go there, then you will have to come back. So this is an important center for us. In fact, it's called the Hridaya, because Hari, Daya. Daya means compassion. It means the center of compassion. Otherwise you'll might become a brainy creature but not the heart. So this is a very important center, you understand. So therefore, even Ramana Maharshi said, heart, of course he said right, it doesn't matter right or left. We can also go on the middle path, it doesn't matter. But it's here in this location. In many disciplines, the heart center is very important. However, ultimately, the energy has to reach the sahasrara. So there is no contradiction between the two. And it's nice to develop the heart first and then move forward.
It's more sweet, so then
This is also sweet, but yeah. I understand what you're trying to say. It's human, more devotional opening of the heart and so on. But even here, when finally the awareness ascends to the Sahasrara, 1,000-petaled, where the jewel sits in the lotus, there also it's very sweet. You feel very sweet. Not only just sweetness in a metaphorical sense, but there's something sweet going on inside. You can taste it somewhere near the neck. And if you taste that, then port wine is of no use. No, I can hear it.
Something with good intentions.
She's quite okay. She doesn't need the mic. Okay, fine.
You think like you've been helped. You don't know what is it. What it's a positive energy you get on the way to reach your destination. Is it
So what's the question?
Is it the grace? Shall we call this the grace, or is it true that our intention gives us this power and help from this universal awareness, this creator. So what is this energy we get when we have good intentions?
See, if you have good intentions and you need help, where does your feeling be? Inside you, right? You have no system by which you can send it by the Swiss postal order or something. No, you cannot. So it is inside you. And even if you have to send it somewhere, you don't know where that post office is. So luckily for us, human beings, the post office is right here. So when the mind is so intent upon getting something, especially something that's good, not only for you but not harmful to others, then it goes into the being that sits in your own heart, and the answer comes from there. Only thing is, once if it doesn't work, you shouldn't get upset. Maybe you deserve something better. See, we have to always distinguish between what we need and what we want. Sometimes what we want may not be what we need in the ultimate sense of the term. And it is from inside, it's not anywhere outside. Of course, it is also outside, but the only way we can contact is through inside. If the supreme, whatever reality that you seek is all-pervading, it must be outside also. But we can find it first only inside. And when you find it inside, then you discover that it is also outside. We cannot find it outside. Yes, sometimes we can, very rarely. Suppose you're walking in the woods, in the forest, nobody there. Just the birds here and there. And it's nice and cool, and there's a beautiful breeze flowing, and you hear the sound of the leaves when the wind blows, and for some time you sit under a tree and you're doing nothing. Then you're finding it there also outside. You're not you're not consciously trying anything, which means what? Your conscious mind is not interfering. And therefore you see the vastness of the forest and the moving of the leaves, and then you are there. But for that first you need to learn how to keep the mind calm, and that work can be done internally. So first touch here, then touch there. Although it's everywhere. Then these are general descriptions that everything that you see on this earth comes from that being which is beyond. From him are born the Rig Veda, the Sama Veda, the Yajur Veda, the rites of initiation, all the sacrifices, the year, the sacrificer, the worlds, etc., etc. This means the whole world. Come from there and therefore goes back there. From him also are the gods born in manifold ways, the celestials, men, cattle, birds. Now here is a catch. The in-breath and the out-breath. Somehow this breath is linked to the divine being, the supreme. Somewhere. In the old Semitic text says that the form is created and then the divine breathes the breath of life into it before it becomes alive. So there is this breath that is so important. So after saying all this, it says it is also linked to the in-breath and the out-breath. From him come forth the 7 life breaths, the 7 flames, their fuel, the 7 oblations, the 7 worlds in which move the life breaths. 7 and 7 which dwell in the secret place of the heart. Which means there are 7 centers, there are 7 types of pranas, breaths. As they move through the 7 centers, each one opens up and one finally goes to the highest, which rests in the heart. When you say heart here, it simply says hridaya. It does not talk about the physical heart. So it means the center of consciousness. Now there's a lot of description from him, other oceans and so on and so forth. And the person who figures out, there's the last sloka in this section, 10th. The person who figures out that the source of all rests in the place of the heart, he has found the truth. Manifest, well fixed, moving, verily in the secret place of the inner being, such is the great support. And it is centered all this which moves, breathes and winks. Know that as being, also as non-being, as the supreme object to be desired, as the highest beyond the reach of man's ordinary understanding. Now there is a practical suggestion given after this. Till now we were floating in philosophy and speculation and abstract metaphysics and so on. Suddenly it comes down to a practical instruction. And what is that practical? Dhanurgritva Upanishadam Mahastram Sharam hi upasani sitam samdatati ayamatad bhavagatena chetasa lakshyam tad evaksharam saumya vitti. Taking as the bow, B-O-W, bow, not bow. Taking as the bow, the great weapon of the Upanishads, one should place it in the arrow sharpened by meditation, and drawing it with the mind engaged in the contemplation of that Brahman. O beloved one, know that imperishable Brahman is the target. Upanishad is the bow, the arrow is meditation, and the Supreme Brahman is the target. So use the Upanishad as the bow, use meditation as your arrow, aim at the Supreme Being, and shoot. In another Upanishad it is described, use the mind as the bow, use Om as the arrow, and target the Brahman and shoot. Now, there's something very interesting. In Zen, archery is a very important practice. So what happens? You have a bow, you have a target, you have the arrow, you have the, what's that thing? Bowstring. You fix the back side of the arrow on the bowstring, you hold it. There is the target you want to touch, the Supreme. Here is the arrow you have of sharpened meditation. You put it on the bowstring and you pull it taut. Everything is ready. Now, says the Zen master, would you hit the target if you release or hold on? Release or hold on. But still it requires holding. Yeah? So it requires effort, but in the end, let go. First, take the bow out, fix it there. Everything is ready, one pointed. You need to hit the target. Then Then the arrow goes, otherwise the arrow stays on the bowstring. So this is the art of meditation and how to hit the target of the Supreme. You need to prepare everything. You need to prepare your meditation. You need to systematize and work on your life. You need to keep as simple as possible and free yourself. And then you aim your mind onto the Supreme Brahman. And then you discover that if you keep on keeping it taut and tense, you need to let go before it strikes. Therefore the Upanishad said, Tena tyaktena bhunjita, let go and rejoice. Letting go is very difficult. Not only in meditation, in daily life. We cannot let go. I'm not saying give up, let go. Can we let go of all the hurts that we had in our lives? I'm sure in this life, many years, we must have had many hurts and many pains. Can we let go of it? Half the tranquility of the mind is established if you let go. Can we stop thinking about those hurts and pains and sorrows that have come to us, and therefore the enmity we have towards that person who has caused it? Can we? Well, it's too much to say, bless them that curse you. At least can you let go of the curse? At least. Maybe somebody could, but at least half your meditation is done, because the string is no more tense. So, before we wind up, we're going to go have a good lunch. And I'll tell you a little story. It's nice to start with a story and end with a story. Parables are always good. Look at the Bible. So, I don't have to tell you who the Buddha was, everybody has heard of him. So Buddha had a very intimate disciple whose name was Ananda. He was also related to him, distantly, and he was always with him, constant companion. And one day, Ananda was also a great musician. He used to play the veena, the stringed instrument called the veena. So one day, Ananda was kind of vexed with a certain philosophical problem, metaphysical problem. Buddhism is full of metaphysics, like, is this world real? Is it not real? And so on and so forth. And he was caught up in some metaphysical problem, which he could not solve. And he said, if I don't solve it, I have no peace of mind. My mind is not settled. And he was on the rough ground, walking up and down, till he got his feet cut and bleeding, but he wouldn't stop. So the Buddha was watching him. After some time he said, Ananda, come here. Don't tell me your question, what you're thinking of it. Come here, sit down. Okay, go and bring your veena. So Ananda brought his stringed veena instrument. He gave it to me. And Buddha started, it has knobs with which you can adjust the strings. He started slackening the knobs till the strings were very loose. And he gave it back to Ananda. Ananda said, sir, but I can't play on this. The strings are slack. I cannot play on this. He gave it back to me. Turned tight. He kept on turning. Ananda said, please stop. The strings are too tense now. They're too tight. They're going to break. They're going to crack. So Ananda, how do you play your music? He said, you have to do it in a certain way, and you should neither be too tight or too slack. Then you get the music. Yeah. So he said, are you expecting the solution from your mind? Because it's too tight now. Loosen it a bit. Don't let it be slack. make it medium. So that's called the middle path. I always advise people, after going into a great deal of philosophical and stepping down in meditation, the Kundalini is not and all that. Get out into the garden, go for a walk, forget about it. And come back and sit down. Something may happen even without you knowing it. Seriously. It's not the way. Yeah, you should. Then you go mad. So there we are. People who know martial arts, they can tell you. When you're emotional or you're angry, you're not allowed to strike because you'll always strike wrong. Calm, tranquil, peaceful. Then you know what to do, everything is accurate. Right? Don't strike in anger.
Like that.
Yeah. It's like that. There should be a middle path, should be something. In fact, that's very interesting, that judo is called the gentle way. Jiu-jitsu is a gentle art. So, what's gentle about it? Which means so in Kerala we have an art form called coloring. Coloring is very old. We are also taught that way. Don't strike when you are emotional. Be calm. Be quiet. Probably the mother of karate, I don't know. Yeah, so I'm going to release the bow now, please. It's too tight. This morning has been the string has been too tight. So release, let go and rejoice and have a good lunch and come back. While you eat your lunch, I'm going to spoil your happiness a bit. When you eat your lunch, while you eat the food, keep this in mind that time is eating us. Fact. My master used to always say that to me when I sat down to eat. Well, remember, when you're eating, time is eating you. Later on I started eating when he was not there. I couldn't enjoy the food. So if you don't want, it's okay. You get a beautiful mango to eat and you're about to eat. Imagine, time is eating you, so the whole taste is gone. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti.